Hello everyone and welcome back. Today we're going to be doing something different, and it's a first one on the channel. We're going to be flying a GA aircraft, which I do it a lot, and but I never stream. You'll see, unfortunately, I cannot do some things that I do when we're flying the heavy stuff, the commercial stuff, because when I fly GA, usually I usually do it for practice, and so I run the ForeFlight on my iPad and all that stuff that I would be using when flying in real life. So there's no way for me to transport all this information to the screen. Everything is on my iPad here. And on my on my knee pad, on my knee board.
Ground, that's the 405. Just a part of everyone.
So, but I hope you enjoy. It's gonna be very different. We don't have the, as you can see, we don't have the fancy systems that we have on the Airbus. But it's a system that I'm very particular, have a lot of experience with, especially this little guy here. The Garmin 530 was, and the 430. Unfortunately, there's no 430 in this airplane, but we're gonna be running a Reality XP Garmin GNSS 530 WAS version. This is as real as you can get from. It's basically the same, the real unit. It's running under Garmin's trainer, which is a 100% replica of the real unit. So a lot of pilots use the Garmin trainer to become familiar with the unit before you start flying with it. And so Garmin provides this trainer for new pilots. And Reality XP uses the Garmin trainer as the backbone for the GPS. So it's actually running a Garmin's trainer. So it is 100%. There's minor details that are not functional. It's not that they are not functional, but they will never give you any other results. One of the examples is the rain prediction. The rain prediction is always going to be good. There's no satellites simulation on a prepared, so there's no you're never gonna get a bad return on rain. But anyways, let's get going. ATC already texted me twice. I don't know why they are so much in a rush. I haven't contact for a clearance or nothing. So anyways, let's get going. There's not much talking with this. This is a very fast airplane. If you're not familiar with the Learjet 25, especially the older models, this is the 60 model retrofitted with a Garmin 530 and a weather radar. This is very fast, climbs very fast. We're gonna be seeing vertical speeds of 4,500 feet per minute. This is very fast. So especially on departure, to comply with low altitudes and speed restrictions, it's very hard. You have to really concentrate and be on top of the plane. The plane is very fast. This is no joke. So yeah, so I'm sorry in advance that there's not gonna be a lot of talking, but I hope you enjoy. And if you enjoy, we can make more videos. I fly a lot in North America, and if you like the kind of flying, then yeah, we can do it more. I already programmed the 530 just because it's a little bit of a boring and it takes a little bit of a time. But we can go on later on another video when we have a little bit more time. We can go through the whole process. As you can see, the GPU also is already connected, but I haven't done any tests or anything on the plane. I was going to before start streaming, but we can do this together. But anyways, there's a lot still to be done. Everything is manual here. This airplane doesn't have auto thrust, so all the speed management is done manually. Everything is done manually. The autopilot is very old. It's a very old model of calling autopilot, if I'm not mistaken, one of the first ones. So it's very unreliable. It doesn't work properly. So there's a lot of hand flying done with this plane. You'll see until we reach initial climb, basically everything's going to be flown by hand on a very fast airplane. So yeah, that's quite a challenging plane to be flown properly. So let's get going. Well, let's see what ATC wants with us, and let's get this plane going. I wanted to get everything ready first and call ATC on the last minute to get the clearance, like we usually do. But I don't know why they have been sending messages. We'll see. So if they want to give us a clearance early, we'll get the clearance early. It's better for us. Okay. So as you can see, we have everything on. I'm not gonna talk much now, or else this is gonna take a lot of time. There's a lot of systems that we're gonna go through. I'm not gonna be saying each one of the. Not on this video. We can in a later opportunity, we can go through all this stuff. But unfortunately, on this one, we're just gonna get going here, or else this is gonna take hours. By the way, we're leaving Nassau. International going to Kingston, Jamaica. So it will be a nice departure and a nice approach in Jamaica. Flight should take us an hour and 20 minutes roughly. So not a very long flight. Okay, let's go ATC.
Visibility 9999. Few clouds at 3000. Temperature 31. 2.22. Altimeter 29908. Arrivals expect ILS approach runway 14. Visual approach 9er available upon request. Land and hold short operations are in effect. Landing runway 9er expect to hold short runway 14. 7400 feet available. All departures contact clearance delivery prior to taxi. All VFR traffic contact Nassau Control 25 NM prior. Expect vectors for sequencing. Advise on initial contact. You have information Alpha. Lynden Pindling International Airport 8 of information Alpha 2200 Zulu. Wind 150 and 8. Wind variable between 120 and 180. Visibility 9999. Few clouds at 3000. Temperature 31. 2.22. Altimeter 2.
Nassau delivery, good afternoon. Learjet 25 Delta Bravo X-Ray Papa. Looking for IFR to Kingston, Jamaica, flight level 320.
Charlie Delta Bravo X-Ray Papa, Nassau clearance delivery. Hello, can you swap mode Charlie, please?
Mode Charlie for Delta Bravo X-Ray Papa.
Delta Bravo X-Ray Papa, clearance available, Horizon 90, copy.
We are ready to copy Delta Bravo X-ray Papa.
Delta Bravo X-ray Papa, you're cleared to the Mike Kilo Juliet Papa Airport is followed. Climb maintain 4000. Expect flight 320 10 minutes after departure. Departure frequency on 121.0. Squawk 4601.
Delta Bravo X-ray Papa is clear to Kingston as filed. Initial climb 4000. Expecting 320 10 minutes after departure on 121.0. Squawk 4601 for Delta Bravo X-ray Papa.
Delta Bravo X-ray Papa, read back correct. Contact ground for your push and taxi.
Thank you so much. Will do. Delta Bravo X-ray Papa, thank you for your service. Bye bye.
You too. Bye bye. 121.7 for ground. If you didn't know.
Yeah, 21.7. Thank you, Bravo X-ray Papa. Okay, we can set up right away whatever we're gonna need here. So we have our initial climb 4000. I'm glad that he gave us something a little bit decent, because this climbs fast. It's good to know that we're gonna have a nice relatively nice climb. It's gonna take us a minute to reach 4000, so we have a minute to organize ourselves on departure. Elevation here is 16 feet, so we're gonna call 0. So we're gonna set our radio altimeter to 1000. Can call 1020. Like I said, initial climb probably gonna be 445, 5. We'll see. Let's uncage our standby. Gonna start testing from right away too.
For the Nassau ground record 52 vacated aircraft calling, say again?
Yeah, that was
Is that Western 602? Apron. Western 602, taxi to Apron 3 by your Hotel 3. That's a left on
so
hotel.
yeah, we're just gonna go from left to right.
Right, and that'll be Apron 3 in front of you.
Test everything.
Sorry, the taxi to Apron 3. Left on hotel and right on Hotel 3.
We need to, one thing that I forgot, well, not forgot it, this is the time to do it, but I forgot we'll have to do it. We have to refill. Unfortunately, we cannot use GSX. We have to do it old style. We want 45.
Western 602,
yeah.
Can you squawk standby for me, please? Right.
We should squawk standby too. I don't know why he asked us to squawk when we didn't even have a squawk, a code. Anyways, let's go for a fuel payload. So we're gonna do 100.
Ground, good evening,
I don't know if you can see this, but we're putting 100% on center, right and left wing.
Push start approved, expect 114 for departure.
And we want another 900 on the tip tanks. So 450, 450. And we are good. 45. That's what we want. So yeah. Hopefully it's still showing there. Yeah, no, it's not. Okay. There you go. We're back. And now we reset the counter, or else it won't move. And we double check it's full. So I said that I wasn't going to talk much, but there I am already talking. Okay, we tested all that stuff. We're gonna put our elevation here, 30,000 feet for our pressure, for cabin pressurization. And let's run some tests real quick. It's easier to run from this side. So seat belts, fire detection. Okay, looks good. Okay, everything looks good on our AFCSS. We now have to work on the autopilot too. I'm gonna turn stall warning and anti-skid on so we can test. First is our cabin altitude alarm. Stall. So it's gonna be left wing. Left stall. Right wing. Right stall. Anti-skid test. Outboard. Inboard. Okay, looks good. Sync off, spoilers off. We have the cabin control we're gonna set to auto. And we're gonna turn the bleed the bleed later on. Okay, we can test our DME too. And everything else looks good. Yeah, our weather radar is working. I wouldn't have done that, but it's okay. Everything else looks good. We're just gonna double check a few on everything here, and our total should be 4.5. Yeah, so this looks good. Parking brake is on, and the door is still open. So what we're gonna do is, I already armed the emergency. We're gonna close. We're gonna set our speeds. So we want 126 V1, 132 VR. So we're gonna set the red bug is for knots, the white bug is for Mach. So 126, 132. So the 32, there you go. So the 32 we're gonna set up on a FO here. Side. There you go, roughly 132. That's gonna be our VR speed. We already have VS set and our initial climb. So everything looks good. What we need is, we're gonna be using runway 14. So we're gonna set up here for 143. There you go. And we're gonna leave in nav for now. I know talking like this is very... I'm gonna end up forgetting something. But anyways, yeah, so that's that. Let's just take a look real quick on our flight plan. So we're gonna be tracking the Nassau VOR 112.7. I don't think we're even gonna make it, but yeah, it's on our flight plan. And then Manley, which is Kingston, by the Kingston airport, we're gonna be tracking 15.5. So we're gonna leave on nav2 right away. Nav2 is gonna run VOR, and nav1 is gonna run VOR2. So we have here as Zulu Quebec Alpha. That's Nassau VOR 112.7. If we need to come back, ILS 14 is 110.1. So that's that. We're gonna ident those two. And we have frequency 21.7 for 21.7 for ground, and then 2100 for departure. Oh, look at that. We got something. That's Nassau VOR. Beautiful. So we don't have to worry about Nassau VOR anymore. We're gonna leave the DME on nav 1 and showing minutes. We don't need the speed because we're gonna be running the GPS. So yeah, so I guess that's all we need. Everything looks good. We're still connected to the GPU. Turn the auxiliary inverter off. We have so we have the GPU still running, and we can start right away. So let's set beacon on, so we can start. Just wanna real quick, quietly here, go through this and make sure that everything looks everything looks good before we go. Just a real quick pass, just for the fact that I've been talking, and this is there's a lot of stuff to be done. This is very easy to forget, to miss something. Yeah. Perfect. Just want to make sure that I have the radios too, because we're going to be hand flying. We don't want to have to fumble. It's very easy on the real unit, but it's not as easy to set up frequencies with the scrolling on the mouse. It usually doesn't go the speed that you want it. It's very hard to...
Nassau ground, what is ready taxi to runway 14.
It's very hard to perfectly speed dial the thing. I should say. Okay, let's start this.
Aircraft for Nassau ground.
I wonder if he wants us to call for a start. Usually GA here we don't have to call for start, but
W2 taxi runway 14 via hotel.
14 via hotel at Jet 40.
so we are by what's the name of this company again? There's a company outside here. Let me just Odyssey. Yeah, Odyssey Aviation. Yeah, so it's gonna be a long taxi. We're gonna have to go all the way. We are on a threshold of runway 32, and we need to go to 14. So we're gonna be yeah, it's gonna take a while, but it's okay. We taxi quick with this. We go fast. Nassau ground, good afternoon, Learjet 25 Delta Bravo X-ray Papa by Odyssey FBO. Like to request a start.
Charlie Delta Bravo X-ray Papa. Start approved.
Start approved for Delta Bravo X-ray Papa, thank you. Okay, we start engine 2 first, so let's get going. Just one more time, just want to make sure that this is all nice and correct. Okay, yeah, everything looks good. Just reset one more time just to make sure. Yeah, everything's good. Let's start. So jet pumps for the right side on. And restart. 10%.
Nassau ground is now closed. Contact approach 110.
120, Jet 240.
So we're gonna straight to 21.0. Okay, so we got start off, air ignition off.
Nassau, JetBlue 240, 50,
Same
holding
thing for left
runway
engine.
14.
Wait until 10%,
JetBlue 240 Nassau
10 to
departure.
20%.
Good evening, winds
Cut off.
1508, runway 14, clear for takeoff, live runway heading.
Clear for takeoff of 5, runway heading, runway 14,
Yeah.
JetBlue 240.
Very good. Off, off. We can request the GPU to be disconnected. Unfortunately, we have to do it ourselves. And generator is on. Okay, as simple as that. We are burning fuel like crazy now. This thing burns fuel like crazy. This is a pure jet, if you're not aware. Yeah. So we're good. Let's call for taxi.
Delta Bravo X-ray Papa Nassau ground.
Delta Bravo X-ray Papa.
Delta Bravo X-ray Papa, you just called for taxi?
I was going to call right now. Yeah, Delta Bravo X-ray Papa is ready for taxi.
Oh, my apologies. We just did a shift change. Can you swap mode Charlie, please?
Yes, mode Charlie for Bravo X-ray Papa. Thank you.
Charlie Delta Bravo X-ray Papa, thanks. Runway 14, taxi via Lima, cross runway 32 Alpha, left on hotel, and hold short of 14 hotel hold short of 14 hotel. The national altimeter is 29908.
Okay, so we're taxiing to holding point hotel runway 14 via Lima, cross runway 32 Alpha, left at hotel, and then hold short at hotel 14. Delta Bravo X-ray Papa and altimeter 29908.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Going. And since it's a long taxi, we'll figure out everything. We'll set it up during taxi. That's the trim. Just so you know, it's a very particular sound. Okay, so it's Kilo cross 32. Oh, corrections. Lima cross 32. Then Alpha left hotel. Eight degrees flap for takeoff. And you might hear a strange voice. That's a ForeFlight automated system. It has a lot of features.
Anyone on frequency, wind you're now 130 6 knots, alternative 39 or 9 or 8.
Then it's a left on hotel here. Just a quick talk about the takeoff. So we're gonna take off 100% power, 100% RPM. Then we're gonna bring it down right away, so we don't blow 250 knots right away. Once we reach our initial climb, which is pretty low, 4,000, we're gonna maintain this low power setting. Once we get clear to our climb, we're gonna be climbing at 90%. Fuel flow for the cruise should be around, I have the number here, it's just not on this page on the ForeFlight. But if I'm not mistaken, it's around 1,600 pounds per hour. So we're gonna be seeing 800 pounds per hour on each engine here. It's a lot of fuel. Not efficient at all and very noisy engine. If you're not old like me and you're not familiar with jet engines, it is quite yeah. No wonder they abolished and they created something way more efficient and less noisy.
And Nassau ground,
with the turbo
Bahamas
fans.
211 back with you.
Bahamas 211, Nassau ground, thank you.
And Bahamas 211, do you want us to go with the same squawk?
Bahamas 211, did they give you squawk 4604 before?
Yes, sir. We had some technical difficulties, and we're just coming back about 30 minutes behind schedule. But we can go ahead and take a clearance if we need.
Roger. If you got a clearance already, I believe the clearance is valid for 2 hours. I guess call me for taxi.
Okay, push back at our discretion. We'll give you a call for taxi, Bahamas 211.
And Bahamas 211, you did get clearance with the other Nassau ground controller, correct?
Hey, Abraham.
All right. Yep. Call me for taxi, please.
We'll come.
We're gonna depart on nav mode, but
And
as
Bahamas
soon
211,
as
squawk mode, Charlie, please.
as soon as we can,
Stand by for squawk mode, Charlie.
we're gonna go to GPS mode and activate nav lock. Just want to make sure here real quick. 8 degrees flap. We just need pitot heat and air ignition. Air ignition actually we don't need. The weather is good. Just like on the Airbus. Depends on the company. Some companies
Nassau ground.
having their
1 Romeo Bravo is type Fokker
SOP
50. Information
to
alpha, ready
take
for
off
taxi.
and land with their
Request,
ignition on. Some
VFR to the
don't,
west,
as
negative,
required. So we're gonna be doing it as required.
41 Romeo Bravo, Nassau ground. You did not file a flight plan here. Can you file a flight plan and call me back?
Where we file 1 Romeo Bravo.
So as you can see, we're gonna take off on VLOC mode, which is nav mode. But after takeoff, once we are good, we're gonna activate GPS mode. This, like I've mentioned before, this autopilot is very tricky. We cannot activate autopilot right away and climb on autopilot. The plane is gonna react very abruptly. So it is, yeah, the first portion of the flight has to be done manually. The plane doesn't respond well on autopilot.
And November 9 for Romeo Bravo, you do not have an arrival. Are you doing a circle back to Nassau?
Sure. 1 Romeo Bravo.
Romeo Bravo, it's up to you. Just let me know.
Yeah, that works. We can end destination at Nassau. 1 Romeo Bravo.
Romeo Bravo, are you just stopping? Are you just going to stop somewhere at another island, or are you just going to make
we have some
left-hand
traffic there. There's
back to Nassau?
the terminal.
We're VFR to the west, sir. I don't have a destination yet, but we're just going to head westbound.
November 9 41 Romeo Bravo. I believe you do need a destination. If you can let me know what your destination is and then call me back, let me know.
You can put Miami if you'd like.
Will do, thank you. Stand by 1 moment.
Ground rest.
And we're gonna taxi all the way down. We could get an intersection departure here. We have more than enough engine to take off here, but
flight plan filed. Oh, are you Western 202?
Oh yes, I'm sorry, Western.
There's all the big boys.
Western 202, stand by 1 moment. Charlie Bravo X-ray Papa, contact Nassau approach now 121.0. Good day.
210 Delta Bravo X-ray Papa. Thank you very much for your service. Have a good day.
You too.
Hey, Homer, what happened to Dimitri?
And man, he's having some problems and he's taking off and he's still going to take off. I guess. I don't even know.
Wow.
So departure, good afternoon, Learjet 25, Delta Bravo X-ray Papa, on taxiway hotel for runway 14.
Charlie Delta Bravo X-ray Papa, Nassau departure, good evening. Fly, runway heading, runway 14, clear for takeoff.
Fly to runway heading and clear to takeoff, runway 14, Delta Bravo X-ray Papa, thank you very much. Okay, so as I was predicting, that's why I have the heading bug right away on runway heading. We're going to be flying runway heading. There's no seat assigned to for us, so it's going to be runway heading, and we go from there. The only thing that we have to keep an eye is our 4,000 feet. Okay, we're getting close. Pitot heat on. Yeah, and I said that we were doing air ignition off, right? The only other thing is the landing light on, strobe on, and steering lock off. And we take as much as of a runway we can. Double checking real quick here. Everything looks good. We're small, very agile, so it's nice. Here we can do all kinds of crazy stuff. Okay. Hold the brakes. Power slowly to 100%. Release brakes, and we're going. Get ready for some crazy accelerations. Let's go.
Bomb 204, direct Muni when able.
Roger, direct Muni, Bahamas 204.
Bomb 204, center maintain 2000.
V1,
2000 of Bahamas
VR.
204.
Gear up. Power down right away. Thousand feet. Flaps up. Departure Delta Bravo X-ray Papa airborne 2000 to 4000.
Charlie Delta Bravo X-ray Papa, Nassau departure, radar contact, turn right on course and maintain flat side.
Turn on course and maintain 4000, Delta Bravo X-ray Papa. Thank you very much, sir.
Charlie Delta Bravo X-ray Papa, maintain 12,000.
Oh, 12,000, beautiful. Bravo X-ray Papa, thank you very much.
Bomber Street 28, the field, 12 o'clock and 11 miles, port field site.
I can field inside Bomber Street 28.
Bomber Street 28, clear with the visual approach, runway 14.
Clear visual 14, Bomber Street 28.
As you can see, we're easily climbing at 5,000 feet per minute. It is quite impressive. Still manually flying.
Charlie Delta, Bravo X-ray Papa, unfortunately you're departing my airspace to the southwest. Nassau sent us offline at this time. Radar service determined. Please change approved. You have safe flight CNS.
Thank you very much, sir. 22.8 for Delta Bravo X-ray Papa. Thank you for your service and please have a good night. Bye-bye.
Mama 204, cross Muni out below 2,000, cleared high left runway 14 approach.
Cross Muni at or below 2,000, include the ILS 14, Bahamas 204.
We're just
Mama
gonna keep
228,
going
120,
because we're going to UNICOM, so we're just gonna blow the 12,000. It doesn't matter anymore. So what we can do is let's select our 32. We're only going up to 32. This plane can go much higher than that, but since it's not a very long flight, we're just gonna maintain 32. Can turn the flight director on here. And let's go. Now we're gonna be climbing, so we're gonna set up 90%. We're past 12,000 feet, so we have to maintain at least 75% RPM, or else the pressurization won't work properly on the plane. It's something to be aware. And let's see if autopilot will be happy right now. Yes, autopilot is happy. So yeah, you have to be manually fly for a little bit. We're gonna set up this to GPS and nav lock. There we go. Hands out of the yoke, but still a lot of work to be done. We have to keep an eye on our fuel, which burns real quick. Our pressurization and climate control temperature, which we want to see here. This is see it's a little bit too hot, so we're gonna bring it down a little bit. We want to have half an transition altitude. We'll change. Oh, I'm used to be on the left side. We'll change. We'll change here. Yeah. So we want to make sure that we have between half and 3/4. That's a good setting. We have yaw damper on. Now altitude and nav modes on the GPS. Everything else looks good. I forgot that. See, I knew I was going to forget something. I'm glad it was something minor. The seatbelts. I'm glad it was something minor. And landing lights and taxi lights can go off now. We are past 20,000 feet and climbing fast. We don't want to blow more than 305 knots below. Oh, we are way past. So there's another alarm of 306 knots below flight level 140. That's a bird strike alarm. So if you go faster than 306 knots below 14,000 feet, flight level 140, an alarm is gonna sound. So you have to keep more than 75% and below 306 knots, which is pretty difficult. Until you get used to the plane, there's a lot of stuff. Looks simple, but there's a lot of stuff going on. You have to really pay attention on everything. On top of that, you have to manually fly whatever ATC tells you to do it, right? Now, it's not relaxed time, but it is more comfortable. At least we don't have to actually, the heading, autopilot's taking care of the heading. We just have to worry about everything else. The electrical numbers, the engine numbers, and keep an eye on the speed, and keep an eye that we don't overshoot our altitude. Because if we keep climbing at 4,000, the plane is not going to be able to level off. He's going to blow our cruise altitude, our level off altitude. So yeah, it's another thing to keep an eye on it. And we have to work on our radios, on our nav numbers too. This is not the Airbus. He won't change automatically for us. So we do our own thing here. And we're gonna turn stab and wing heat. We always keep an eye on the wing temperature here too. We don't want to get too hot on the red, and definitely we don't want on the blue. And we shouldn't have any lights on the initiator panel here other than stab heat for our cruise portion. Definitely we don't want an overheat or any low pressure or nothing. There you go. We're approaching 32. I don't know why I thought we were going higher than that. I should have started bringing it down a little bit earlier. So we're reaching our cruise altitude, and then we can talk about the 530 and some tricks that you can do with it. And we're gonna set up to our fuel burn that we calculated, which is 1600. It's 1650, but nobody's that precise. So we're gonna set 1600. So 800 each engine. There you go. We have a sync, an engine sync, but I only use if I really have to. If the engines are rotating well and everything is working well, I'll just keep it. But of course, in real life, you will be able to feel vibrations and everything, and you might want to use the engine sync every single time. It's always as required. It depends on the airplane. And we should. I was going to say that we should be looking into 72.72 Mach, something like that, and that looks pretty close. My calculation was a true airspeed of 445. So we're gonna be using the Garmin to calculate that for us. It's a beauty, and we can do it right now just to make sure how good we're doing here. So we have a density, altitude, true airspeed, and winds calculator. We input our numbers, which he reads from the plane, but if you want, you can put your own. And we're having a true airspeed right now of 414. Let me just reset. It is a little bit off here, the fuel flow. Just give a little bit more power and wait a little bit. Wait until it settles, and we'll figure out how far we are from our calculations. This is a plane that it's way more important to keep track of waypoints and altitudes and everything, and fuel especially, since it doesn't do all the calculations for you, and it's a plane that burns a lot of fuel. So you want to make sure that we have enough fuel. So of course 12.7 has been long gone. we can set up Manley 15.5 and have nav 1 and 2 tracking the same VOR, and then later on we set the ILS. So let's do that. There's not much to track on this one today, so we can set 15.5. It's gonna flip, and we should get new numbers later on. And we're gonna have nav 2 ident nav 2 and nav 1. Looking at the plates here, or actually looking at the weather first. ForeFlight gives all this information. We want runway 12, so it will be ILS runway 12. Winds right now, just so you guys have an idea, is 140 at 16. So yeah, we definitely want runway 12. And we're getting a true airspeed of 420 roughly. So yeah, we are 25 knots off. Not a big deal. That one won't kill us. Yeah, actually, let me show a few other things that we can do on the auxiliary page. So we have fuel planning, trip planning, density scheduler, cross fuel, but we don't have a second unit, so there's no cross fuel. So if you can see fuel planning from our present position all the way to Kingston, we know the required, how much we're gonna have in the tanks left, which is our endurance, the range that we're gonna have, and the fuel that we should be burning in our to Kingston from here. This is real time. You can see the numbers moving. Sorry, I just sometimes have to double check that everything looks good. Like I said, stuff happens real quick here. So since I've never streamed flying this plane, I have to keep. I'm always paying attention. I have to once in a while remember that I'm flying this and not the Airbus. So if things go bad, things are gonna go bad real quick here, and without any automation or any help. So we have a trip planning that is gonna give us, of course, times, density, altitude that I already showed. Then we have another page that you can have your custom checklist, flight timer, trip statistics, and the most important thing on this page, and we actually have to use the rain prediction. So the rain prediction, we can set, for example, our present position. If you want to have an idea how to compute the rain and see if the satellites, everything is looking good or it's gonna be looking good, we can set up the waypoint as our destination waypoint. With the time, estimated time of arrival, he will compute the rain, check the satellites, the orbit, and he'll let us know if we're gonna have service, GPS service to shoot an approach. This is mandatory. You have to do it 15 minutes before the commence of the approach. It's mandatory. If you're flying and using the GPS as your main navigation device and system, the GNSS system, you have to check the rain. It's mandatory. Of course, Transport Canada or FAA, they are not in the cockpit with you to make sure that you're doing, but in theory you have to do it. Which we will be doing if I don't talk too much and forget. We will be doing. there's a lot of stuff. This GPS is not as fancy as the newer ones, the GTN 650, 750. The user interface, the GUI, is very old. I personally love it. I've had years of experience with this machine, the 430s and the 530s. So of course, to me, since I've used for many years, real life experience, it's hard for me to move on. I have great memories on this unit. From beginning flight training and everything, I have a lot of memories with this machine. And this machine can do miracles if you know how to do it. So it's very hard for me to say that the newer ones are better. I love this machine, but I know that the newer ones are way more streamlined, and you get the information much easier, much faster, and it's easier if you don't have much experience. It's easier to find what you're looking for. Let's say that it's all touch screen. You have icons. It looks like a phone, looks like an iPhone. The interface, and so you can, I want to see some calculations. You go to the tools, and you find everything. Right here, everything's hidden. This machine does stuff that if you don't look for it, and don't do this machine sometimes not supposed to do something, but there's a way to do it too. That happens a lot with the 530, 430, 530. They are exactly the same machines. It's just the size of the screen that changes, and a little, but right. But they are basically the software is basically the same. And so there's a lot of stuff there's some stuff that this machine is not programmed to do it, but there's ways to do it if you know how to do it. So unfortunately, right, or fortunately, the GTNs are way more straightforward. Everything's right there in your face. Okay, what do you want to do? I want to use the utilities, the tools. Yeah, you go to the utility section with your finger touch, opens all the calculations, everything that it will do for you. It's very it is amazing. Still, you still have to do a lot. It's by no means a Boeing or an Airbus, but it's not an FMS, but it is an amazing tool. You can zoom in on the when you're on the ground. It will show you the diagram at the airports or the taxiways with everything. It is an amazing tool. It's just that it's nostalgia, and the meaning to me personally of the 430, 530 is so I still love using it, and every time that I have a chance, I use it. If the airplane is compatible with 530, 430, oh, for sure I'm using 430, 530. I have the same plane set it up to fly in Europe. That one is using the GTN 650, 750. I'm planning on start streaming with that plane too. Let's see. That depends on. It's going well actually. I thought I was going to struggle more talking too much. I am talking too much. I'm pretty sure once I'm done and I looked, I'm gonna say, "Oh my God, I'm way behind here. I need to get going." But we're definitely gonna be streaming in Europe too, the European flights, and those ones are gonna be carrying. I'm doing with the GTN 650, 750. I have no real life experience with that. First time that I used was on the simulator, was with the trainer, because Garmin offered trainers for the 650, 750 too. Haven't read the 500 pages manual like I did at the time during my flight training before I applied for my first job, or even before during flight training. I actually read the whole manual for the 430, 530, and I got a lot of time on it and a lot of experience on it. And but I haven't done for the 650, 750. They're very similar. It's just the stuff that you find on different places, and there's newer stuff, more stuff that this one can do. But I've been doing okay with it. It's yeah, it's working well. I'm pretty sure it does way more than I've been using for. It can do way more, but it's like it has done that has performed really well for me. So yeah, we will be streaming with 650, 752. Also from our Reality XP. There's another company that provides, but I would say that their 430s, 530s, and from what I heard, 650 and 750s are not as good as Reality XP. I've always had Reality XP and I love it. This is all customizable, just so you know all this information. The way I like to have, I love to have 430 here, but unfortunately we don't have, so I have to compromise a little bit. We leave ground speed, estimated time en route, distance to the next waypoint, track, and a VSR. VSR will be our vertical speed. We're gonna be using the VNav page real quick, pretty soon I should say, and we're gonna have a number. This is the deviation that we have from the VNav that we had set on the GPS. So yeah, like I said, it's on an FMS. It's not gonna fly anything for you, any vertical profile for you, but at least it helps you calculate and gives you the numbers. And you'll see the number will be changing in real time, which is pretty nice. So this is something that I like. Sometimes during cruise, just because it's easier in real life, I flip this from VSR to ETA. Depends if I have a 430, I have other information on 430, so I don't need to. But since if I'm running just one unit, one 530, during cruise I change to ETA. But that's easier done in the actual real machine than it is here. So I don't, and there's no right. It's especially nowadays running ForeFlight. I get all this information on ForeFlight too. So it's all redundant information. So I just keep with VSR. So we don't have a star set up. So we're gonna need to be flying a full procedure on the ILS. So that means there's gonna be a procedure turn. Actually, we can do something nice. There's a DME arc. We're gonna fly back 17 miles, but it's gonna make our life easier. There's a DME arc on that approach. So we're gonna hit the VOR. That's our flight plan, our last waypoint on our flight plan. As every IFR flight plan, it has to be something, right? You can just end up at the airport like a VFR flight plan. So we're gonna fly from the VOR straight to the waypoint at the beginning of the DME arc, so we don't have to worry about procedure turns or nothing. We can just keep flying south west and hit the DME the initial point on the DME arc, and that's what we're gonna set up here. So we're gonna go to procedures. There's no arrival, but we're gonna set up an approach. So we're gonna be using ILS runway 12. Oh yeah, okay. No, we're gonna have to use FABAL, which is yeah. We have only choices of vectors of FABAL. Okay, unless we do something else here. Let me check real quick. On ForeFlight here, this waypoint. wanna see if we can do some illegal stuff here. We have to be quick because we don't have much time. Or we can actually vector ourselves. This is something that I personally don't like when there's no ATC because right, if you are vectoring ourselves, anyone can do whatever they want. So it's kind of a okay, I had an idea. Let's do something here. In real life, we would have had an ATC here. So what we're gonna do here is yeah, but this is not gonna work. Man, this is not gonna work. Here it doesn't say anything that no procedure turn. There's no procedure turn published here because it has a DME arc. But here it's not saying that the procedure turn is not allowed. I'm just double checking here. There's no no circle to land north of extended runway center line, but it doesn't say anything about procedure turns. Okay, let's fly a procedure turn then. So we're gonna select an approach, ILS, and we are gonna use FABAL. And we're gonna load. Okay. For VNAV then, what we want is $9,500 and Manley. So we want to set 9,500. Yeah, we can use 5. I usually leave it 5. There we go, the VOR. And profile, we're gonna set up. I've been using 3 degrees. Usually, we're gonna set up 2100. There we go. The beginning of descent will be in 23 minutes. He's saying a vertical speed of 650, which won't be. Right, this is right now. It won't be. If we're doing a 2100, so what we know is roughly in 23 minutes, this number is gonna keep. This is right now if you wanna go down and you wanna reach 5 miles before Manley VOR, we wanna be at 9,500 feet. We need to start descending right now at 668 feet per minute, which is not the case. We want a profile of 2100. Our speed right now is according to ForeFlight, ground speed is 400. So 2100 feet per minute should give us, if we maintain this ground speed, should give us close to 3 degrees profile angle. So it will work well. There's one small thing that I don't like about this plane, and you guys are gonna see. The instrument lights are so bright. That's why I avoid turning it on, especially since it's not extremely dark. I'm gonna show it right now. Yeah, see, it just, yeah. And even the flood light is, yeah, so it's a very bright, bright cockpit. Unfortunately, I haven't found a way to, I don't think there is a way to change, I don't think there's any settings. It's either on or off. So yeah, that's what we get. It's either this bright, so I wait until like I really need. Okay, we're doing well. 1350. We are just a few miles, 16 miles from. So yeah, we don't need this anymore. This is a shortcut. Clear button goes back to default nav from any page, unless you switched here pages from this section, the nav section. Then no, you have to go back. But if you are anywhere else, you hit see, it doesn't work. But if you are anywhere else, you hit clear, you go back. And clear also clean up a little bit of detail on a map, like airspace and some other information if you want a little bit of a cleaner screen. Anyway, so you should be expecting 20 in 20 minutes roughly. So 1 minute and 26 from Bhopal, and according to our flight plan, Bhopal, we should have burned oh yeah, close to 2000. This is a little bit more the performance that I added on the plane for ForeFlight, the performance that I have here, it's a little burns a little bit more than it burns in the simulator, but that's good. It's better more than less. So I got used to. So the fuel numbers won't match much, but the ForeFlight we're always gonna be burning a little bit more than the plane actually burns, but that's good. So we should be close to 39 minutes in by Bhopal, and we are 34.5 right now, and burned 2300. We burned 14. So we just want to make sure here that everything still looks good, and our remaining fuel is close to 3100. So we're looking good. So we have a estimated time of 30 minutes to our destination right now. That's a good thing that you can actually connect ForeFlight to the simulator and have the same experience that we had in real life flying with ForeFlight. If you don't know what ForeFlight is, it's a Boeing company software, EFB, flight planner, and everything, but for the real life. It has a subscription. You get plates depending on what kind of subscription you have. There's North America, there's Canada, there's just US, there's Americas, there's Europe, just like Garmin offers on their database. And you get plates, you get flight planning, you get real flight plans. This flight plan we are using is a real flight plan that got filed today, actually. So you get, this is all real operations here. This is the same, this is exactly what I use flying. With the same numbers, same flight plan, same everything. So this is the real deal. And a lot of companies use. Much, much cheaper than buying charts and plates and oh my. It was brutal before ForeFlight. The one good thing that Boeing did for us. Anyways, I'm gonna turn this instrument lights on. I know it's bright, but we will get used to. Oh man, yeah, it's bright. I find it hard to believe that it is the real plane only has one setting. This will be terrible on night flying. So if it is like this, I bet they will use a flood light if they didn't have a headlamp like sometimes like we use when there's no decent lighting in the cockpit. We use headlamps with red light for the night flying. And we just got something here, which is our nav2. And at the same time, since nav1 is using the same, tracking the same VOR, we have DME information now, 190 miles and 28 minutes and that will be Manley VOR, which is the VOR by the airport. So we have 28 minutes to the airport. And let's just check the ident. Yeah, and nav1. Perfect. So we have the ILS on standby here, and on the ILS we won't be using the GPS for the ILS. GPS is guidance only on the ILS. We're gonna have to change the CDI from GPS back to nav and fly the ILS. We can still use as a reference, but we're gonna be flying ILS just like a regular ILS. We're gonna be using our glide slope here on our attitude indicator and our HSI, and we're gonna be following the localizer on our HSI. We can start working on it right now. I hope VNav has I have the VNav message set to on. It is. I don't want to blow the VNav. Okay, so our decision height for the ILS is 270. So since this is a radar altimeter, we're not putting our MDA. We're putting our decision height because it's gonna shoot the ground. So it is 270. There we go. So this is set. We have still adding wings, tips, and a fuselage tank. We still have 3,000 pounds of fuel. That will be more than enough for us to reach our destination. So we're good for fuel. Everything else looks good. We're gonna have to set up the pressure before we start a descent, but that will happen in we'll do it in roughly 10 minutes from now. We already have the ILS. We can set the ILS on standby here on nav2 too, just as a redundancy, just as a safety measure. And we can set up right now too our VREF, so it should be full flaps 114. This is close enough. And if we decide to go 20 degrees, will be 128. But we won't be doing that. So what we can do is set our approach speed, let's call it 130, and set the VREF 114 on the co-pilot side there. $172. Oh. I thought auto zoom was, it is on. Okay. Oh yeah, it is. It's just zoomed out. And we need to make our call too. Start making calls. We're getting close to. Kingston international traffic, good evening. Learjet 25 Delta Bravo X-ray Papa. We are inbound for landing roughly 71 miles northeast of the field. And we are expecting to be arriving 23 minutes. We're right now cruising at flight level 320. And we're going to be flying ILS runway 12 full procedure, and we should be starting our descent pretty soon. Any traffic inbound Kingston, please advise Delta Bravo X-ray Papa. I don't know why he didn't like. He's slaving the HSI. I don't know why he complained that the course wasn't 172. I think that's what he was complaining. That was pretty stupid. But that's okay. Okay. So everything else looks good. Still looking good here. Our special pressurization looks good. We don't want to forget to set up before our descent, or else we are gonna have problems. Everything else going well, other than the excessive fuel burn that this plane has, but that comes with the engine. That's not our fault. I was hoping to get to Kingston a little bit earlier. Hopefully we're still gonna be able to see the nice scenery there. So yeah, 20 minutes to go. We're gonna be flying our ILS runway 12 full procedure, so it's gonna take a little bit longer once we reach the VOR, but we're gonna get it done. Just a small, small detail, but important detail. The localizer is offset, so we won't be aligned to the runway following the localizer, which is okay. We still follow the localizer until we have visual, and then if we want to break off and continue visual on a visual approach, we can do it. But the localizer is offset. Yeah. So yeah, without ATC, it's not that challenging. It is challenged. There's a lot of stuff going on, and of course you need to have a little bit of a knowledge and practice a little bit with the plane. The plane is, as you guys could see, it's very fast. If you're not on top of the game, you're gonna blow speed or you're gonna blow altitude. Oh, that's ForeFlight letting me know the 8 is on at Kingston. Unfortunately, we don't have Kingston's not online, so we won't have any 8s. But it's an amazing tool, ForeFlight. That is quite amazing. It does a lot. It developed, like, it changed a lot. It is amazing what it does right now compared to what you used to do at the beginning. And it caters to commercial and private aviation, GA, and it is really good. Okay, checking here. Another the new meter for Kingston from midnight. So 100 at 10. So yeah, definitely gonna be using runway 12. Temperature is 30. QNH is 1013. So we can change this to millibars to hectopascal. In 13 at Kingston, so pretty easy. We won't have to descending after the transition level. And there at Kingston, we'll figure out where the GA apron is. We know where the terminal is, but I don't know where the GA, but I have an idea. Looking at the layout here, I have an idea where the GA is. It's on the back. It's always on the back. So yeah, runway 12, we can roll all the way down to the end and exit at Echo, but we're probably gonna exit at Delta and taxi in front of the terminal a little bit, and then we'll turn left at Foxtrot and go Foxtrot to the back towards the deactivated runway. There, it was the GA runway there. I'm pretty sure there's somewhere to park over there, close to the old runway. And we can see Jamaica already from here. That'd be pretty sweet if this was a real flight. I wish I could afford to have something like this in real life. If you wanna afford something like this, don't become a pilot, that's for sure. The only way we could be flying something like this is for someone else being a pilot. As you can see, the VSR is still increasing, getting close to our 2100. And that means that, yes, we are right there, 1 minute and 40 to go. So we're gonna set our cabin pressure to sea level. And that's that. Keep an eye on the temperatures once we start descending. Bring the power down. Remember, we cannot go lower than 75% until we reach 20. Until we reach until we hit 12,000 feet because of the oxygen. Yeah, approaching VNAV. There we go. Let's go down, and we're going down to 95. So let's bring the power as low as we can and go down to 9,500. At roughly 2,100. We're probably gonna need to bring on the spoilers so we don't blow on the speed here. And you can see he adjusts on the go, on the fly, the vertical speed. But we don't follow, we don't go after that number. But we just set what we want to set, and that's it. We won't be chasing the number. The number is just as for reference. Kingston International Traffic, Learjet 25 Delta Bravo X-ray Papa, 79 miles from the field, inbound for landing. You're going to be shooting ILS runway 12, full procedure for Delta Bravo X-ray Papa. Right now, leaving flight level 298 to 9,500. Any traffic inbound Kingston, please advise. Delta Bravo X-ray Papa, thank you. We have some checks that we're gonna have to do and turn some flip some switches here. But we're gonna wait until we're a little bit lower. We should do 20,000 and not gonna do 10,000 because we're gonna be leveling off at 9,500. So it's too close to 10,000, so we're gonna do a little bit early, just to avoid accumulation of stuff. So a lot of stuff's gonna happen fast, just like on departure. Now it's gonna be on right, and we're gonna have to figure out our own approach since there's no ATC. We should have set vectors to final actually and just vector ourselves. This could have been done. We couldn't do that in real life, but in real life we wouldn't have the ATC will be present here, right? So kind of it's a catch-22 every time that you fly on VATSIM here, right? You want to try to follow realistic procedures, but at the same time the environment is not realistic all the time. It is when we have ATC, but when we don't have. So now I'm approaching an international airport on an IFR flight plan, and I would have been vectored, but I don't want to vector myself because it's not realistic, but at the same time it is already unrealistic because there's no ATC. So you know, it's kind of it's hard. At what point do we right? The only reason why I don't vector myself is not because I can't. I sure can vector myself, but if there's other people coming inbound following stars or following procedures and we're vectoring ourselves, it gets really hard for us to describe, to announce what we're doing, vectoring ourselves, right? It gets really confused if someone is following procedures. So It's a compromise. Anyways, we're on descent. We're gonna hit the VOR and fly and do our procedure turn to get us aligned to the ILS runway 12. That's the plan. For the missed approach, we're gonna climb to 1000, turn right to the heading 225 to intercept DME 1717 DME from Manley VOR. Arc at 4,000 feet to Kano. And there's a hold. So you fly the DME arc again and hold at Salak, which is on the final approach. But then it will be just a hold standard right turn for the hold. Remember, circuit patterns are standard are left turn, but holds are right turn standard. So we'll be holding at 4,000 feet. And the localizer is offset 3 degrees. I mentioned it was offset, but I never mentioned how much. So just so we know, it's so everybody knows it's so yeah, we're definitely gonna need spoiler now, or else the plane's gonna cry here. We're getting too fast. So we're gonna set spoilers here. There's no degrees. It's either spoiler on, extended, or retracted. That's it. So the only thing we can do is kind of, if you think it's counterproductive, we can increase our speed while we have speed brakes on. Right? It's kind of, but it is what it is. Like I said, very old style, old systems in this plane. If you want to maintain our 1200, or your vertical speed, right? Of course, we could have decreased the vertical speed, but increasing a little bit, giving a little bit of power usually works. It's not that we're increasing like 20% power just to be able to use spoilers. It's not that. Just had to turn the light off here. It's getting dark. It's getting the light was bothering. Okay, 18,000. What we're gonna do is landing light on, seatbelts on, double check the fuel here, especially the wings because it's running low. We're probably gonna have to activate the fuselage tank on our approach. Everything else is looking good. We have our pressurization looks good. This is the differential. This is what the cabin is right now, the long needle. There's our ForeFlight letting us know that we're reaching a transition altitude, and he gives our nearest altimeter, which is really nice, very convenient. And once we reach like something like 12,000, we'll do the rest. I don't want to leave everything for the end. Even though we have a procedure turn to be flown, it's going to take a little bit. Yeah, we could have vectored ourselves to final and go direct fireball here. I don't know. Should we do that and cut some time instead of flying to the VOR? Like I said, it's not realistic, but at the same time, it's not realistic anyways because there's no ATC. We can still fly from fireball. We just go direct fireball from here. Yeah, let's do that. So we want 4,000 at fireball. That's what we're gonna set our VNAV. I just hope it's not too late. Ah. Let's see what kind of numbers. Oh yeah, we're good. We're good. So let's do that. Let's go direct FABO. Oh, let's use a flight plan. I prefer to use a flight plan. See, there's thousands of ways of achieving the same results in this GPS. It's all our preference. Okay, so we're going direct FABO. And we want yeah, we want 1600. So we're just gonna keep going. We can bring it down to 2, because now it's a different, right? I'm just gonna call that. And we don't want 9500 anymore. We want 4 now. That beep was 1000 to go. Just if you're wondering. So let's turn radar altimeter on. We have heat, everything on. I'm gonna bring the stab and wing heat off right away. I know at 9500, where I find it hard to believe that we're gonna need. Anti-skid is going on. We're gonna set up the thrust reversers. We're gonna arm them. And we don't need air ignition. Same way on the approach. Gonna reduce our power here a little bit more. We are 8000, so now we're good to go to 70%. So what we're gonna do is bring spoilers, retract the spoilers, and just use the speed, our power. Hopefully it will work. Power and vertical speed, since we're way going much faster than descending faster than we actually need. We don't have to be at 4000 there, because we have 4 miles to fly until we hit Kano, and Kano is the intermediate fix. Then we for sure we want to be at 4000 at Kano. Disarm yaw damper. We don't have sync on, so we don't have to worry about. And initiator, everything looks good. Everything's looking good. We can turn fan on. We're not going to be using air conditioner, but we can use the fan. Everything else looks good. Once we level off, we're going to bring it back to roughly 80%. And let's make a call here. Kingston International Traffic, Learjet 25 Delta Bravo X-ray Papa, left base for the ILS runway 12. Delta Bravo X-ray Papa, Kingston. We don't want to go any faster than 250. So everything's set. There's 1000 to go. And as expected, the temperature now is shouldn't be a problem. And we're gonna flip to arm the approach. And remember, we cannot have GPS. It has to be VLOC. So one thing that we can do is just use heading now. See, that's one thing that I don't like about the not being the real. So 123 is the course. Flaps 8. It was a little bit aggressive on intercepting the localizer there. Well, we have the runner inside. So flaps 8. Kingston international traffic. Learjet 25 Delta Bravo X-ray Papa established on localizer ILS runway 12 Delta Bravo X-ray Papa Kingston. Gonna bring taxi lights and we're gonna clear ourselves. Speed's good, everything looks good. Yeah, we're good. Nothing else to be done other than full flaps. So there's the GPS letting us know that we're on LNAV mode and a VLOC, so we're using the actual navigation. We're using this to actually fly the ILS. And remember, the ILS is offset 3 degrees. And this is our DME distance from the VOR, which is what we're using for the localizer. Oh, correction. This is for the localizer, not the VOR. I had the VOR on nav2, but I ended up flipping the localizer. Yeah, so we're a little bit off, which makes sense. Let's just enjoy the view for one more time before we have to concentrate here. So we're past our final approach fix, Salok. This is where you, that's the point that you hold if you have to overshoot. It's 7.4 DME. That was the noise that you heard. Oh, correct, 6.2. 7.4 is from the VOR. I keep forgetting that we're not tracking the VOR on 2. Okay, let's turn the autopilot off. We're just gonna make a call. Kingston International Traffic, Delta Bravo X-Ray Papa on short final, ILS runway 12, Delta Bravo X-Ray Papa, Kingston. There's the autopilot off. So I was going to say 140, we're going a little bit too fast here. But we're good on the glide slope. There's ForeFlight letting us know 2 mile final. Oh, there's the low fuel warning. So we're gonna transfer from the center tank. There we go, fuel transfer on, low fuel off. I knew it was going to happen on the approach. And we're gonna, terrain warning, we're gonna just turn it off. We don't need, or else it's gonna cry. Even though we're good. There's ForeFlight letting us know 500. Decision height. We're continuing. Thrust reverse is activated. Oh, I was watching the the diagram. I was looking at the diagram. Okay, so this is Charlie. And I said Delta, right? Oh, again, I was looking at the diagram. Okay, let's go to Delta. We can start cleaning up. Not very... Usually we don't do that because we might end up switching something that you're not supposed to. But especially landing gear, when you're trying to do, not on this plane, but it happens. It happened before many times. Trying to retract flaps and ended up bringing the gear up, hitting a bump, and the gear retracting. That happens. Okay. Taxi, everything else looks good. Kingston International Traffic, Learjet 25, Delta Bravo X-Ray Papa, clear runway 12 at Delta. And we're going to be taxiing to the GA apron via Delta Foxtrot. Any traffic, please advise Delta Bravo X-Ray Papa, Kingston. So from what I understand, I should have called Delta Alpha. We're gonna hit a touch of Alpha. Not that it matters. Okay, anti-skid, stall warning, we can turn it off right away. Strobe's off now. Flaps 0, flaps up. Everything else stays for now. Oh. And we can turn terrain back on. So yeah, so I'm not too sure here. How do we get to... I didn't even have a chance. It's my first time here. Didn't even have a chance to check the terminal. I was worried about the... Oh, there's a guy here. Yeah, there's some stuff here. So instead of going all the way to the back, we can actually just park here. I'm sure. Yeah, let's just park here. And there you go. Got a quick look of the terminal. A Metroliner, not too sure what that is. It's hard to judge sizes and I'm just gonna park beside this guy here. Facing facing east there, so when we leave we don't have to do any trick maneuvering here. Yeah, just like he is. I wanted to see the back there, but I'm actually curious, you know, what's especially look at the old deactivated runway. Yeah, it's okay. There you go. Oh, we had a... yeah, steer off. Okay. Bring park brake to on. Anti-skid off. Radar altimeter off. We're gonna start cleaning up this. And turn the engine off. Okay. Yeah, everything looks good. We can turn this nav off. GPS. ADF we don't need. And COM we're not gonna make any more calls, so we're good. There you go. We can open the door. Take a quick look outside. There it is. We've made it to Jamaica. Go back inside. It's gonna get dark. So we're gonna bring cabin on, this off, and bring everything off, and then that will be it for us. So master are off, so everything is off. Yeah, everything looks good. Inverters off, and batteries. Last but not least, first we're gonna ask to set up the blocks and we're gonna release the parking brakes, and the batteries go off. There's one small detail talking to the developers from Xtreme Prototypes. You might ask yourselves, oh, you turned the battery off, why do you still have light without a GPU? It was a deliberate decision, developing a decision. They just used to have many complaints of people turning everything off at night like we are right now, and all of a sudden everything will go dark. And it was hard. If you needed to access anything else, it would be hard to do it. So they made a decision to, when you turn everything off with no GPU, the cabin lights go on right away, even though it's not realistic because we don't have any power right now. It is, and I actually like it, to be honest. It's one of the decisions that I actually, even though it's not realistic, I actually like the idea, so you don't have to call the GPU on arrival, which wouldn't make any sense. Especially if you're gonna be here overnight or so, you're not gonna ask for a GPU to stay here when you arrive. You're gonna ask tomorrow before your departure, right? So anyways, this is it. We've made it. Actually, I'm surprised. It was an actually good first flight, stream flight, talking a lot. I fell behind on the plane for a few times there, but nothing major. Still well worth it. Hopefully you guys enjoy. Thank you so much for watching. I hope we can keep going with this. Like I said, I have another setup in Europe. I left the UK. I left Edinburgh, Scotland. And now I flew everywhere, and now I'm in Italy, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, I am. Trying to get out of Italy to go somewhere else. And yeah, so I might be streaming that too. And of course, we're gonna keep going with our Russian Xtreme tour, Alitalia's Russian Xtreme tour, the Airbus. But yeah, so not every single time that I fly this, because I like to use as a training tool too, keep me current with everything. And so sometimes I like to do it just by myself, not having any other distractions in my mind. But I will try to stream as much as possible when I'm flying GA. There's other 2 planes that I fly. But yeah, we'll see. But definitely gonna do at least once. Will be more than once, but at least once in Europe, so you guys can see the GTNs, 6050s and 750s working. Anyways, thank you so much. Thank you very much for watching, even if you're not watching live. I hope you have a good rest of the day, or a good week or weekend, depending on when you're watching. Thank you for your support. If you have any comments, questions, complaints, leave a message on the comment section, and I'll be more than happy to read and reply to it. Thank you so much again, and I hope to see you next time. Please enjoy the rest of your day. Bye bye.